As the comedian Ron White said, you can't fix stupid. Well, when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, they sure as hell are stupid because they just made the same mistake twice after losing to the Detroit Lions. We're going to talk about it, folks, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. It doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. My friends, I'm going to tell you this right now. I've lived on this earth for going on almost 31 years. And I can say with 100% certainty that there are some seriously stupid people out on this planet. And stupidity is not at all measured by intelligence. You can have some of the most intelligent people in the room be absolutely idiotic. So, what I'm trying to get at here is that when it comes to sports, I have lived and played through sports a good majority of my life. And one thing I can clearly, honestly tell you is that whenever we would get ready to go play a matchup, and it didn't matter what the sport was, it could be basketball, baseball, football, didn't matter. The one thing that we were constantly told not to do before any sort of sporting event was to not give the opposing team any sort of ammunition going into said matchup. Because by doing so, you will now all of a sudden give them more ammunition, you'll give them more fire, you'll give them something that they can now further focus their efforts against you on. And I can recall that we, as far as the teams that I was ever on, never did that. Sometimes it did happen to us, and I will tell you this right now. My team, whenever we were on there, we would always take that, we would have extra motivation, we would be ready to go in and kick some ass. Now, as we already know, the Packers, prior to the game against the Lions on freaking Sunday, decided that through Xavier McKinney, they were going to say something before the game. I've already talked about it quite extensively. I'm not going back down that route. However, though, after the game, after the fact that the Lions had beat the Packers 24-14, after the fact that a dome team had come out, outperformed, outplayed, outdone a outdoor team, and had quite frankly embarrassed said outdoor team, not necessarily in how we had ran up the score, as was the case with Xavier McKinney's comments, but in the fact that we went out there, we performed better, we executed better than the outdoor team, we had embarrassed them. So, you would think that for a normal individual, the last thing they're going to want to say is anything that is going to start the whole damn thing up and over again. Because it's like, okay, here, Packers, they decided to talk smack, they decided to say something, okay, we come in there, we hit them upside the head by a 2x4, we've now gotten our measure of revenge, we've now established we're the better team, we can move the hell on here. Okay, that's the end of it, right? Wrong. After the game, a certain Packer by the name of Elton Jenkins decided that he was going to say something. Now, who the hell is Elton Jenkins? If I recall correctly, for the game against the Packers, Elton Jenkins, I think, was playing the center role because their starting center was out. Well, here's what I find funny. If you go back to that game, and again, I'm not 100% certain, so I'm going to try and keep this short in case I'm wrong, but the center for the Packers could not freaking snap shotgun snaps to save his life. I mean, for crying out loud, freaking there were multiple times Jordan Love was having to go down very low because the snap was just simply not getting to him. And there were 3 bobbled snaps out of shotgun because of that problem. So, if Elton Jenkins is the guy that I think is the correct dude for the center, what he said that came after the game, which once again is going to reignite this little fire, makes this even worse. After the game, he was asked a question about, obviously the performance of the game and everything else, and what it came down to at the very end of it all was this very short little phrase. Elton Jenkins pretty much said this. He said, the team that executed won, not the better team. So, wait a minute here. Okay. Elton Jenkins is trying to say that, okay, we executed better as far as the Lions, but the better team did not win. So what Elton Jenkins is trying to say there is that, oh yeah, the Lions, they came in, they executed, they performed good, they did their jobs, but they're not the better team. The better team did not win. Okay, here's where this becomes a massive, massive, severe problem in terms of not only logic, but also in terms of, once again, stupid is as stupid does, as Forrest Gump would say. Number one, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it has been a while since I've played sports, but typically the better team is the one that, actually executes, actually does their job, actually performs better. That's typically the way it works. I mean, last time I checked, the saying was on any given Sunday. You can have a team that is freaking ass, 16 out of 17 games, and then that one Sunday, they could be the best team in football. That's how it works. That is always how it works. Just because, we might not have the better talent, and I'm not talking about the Lions, I'm talking about in a generalization here, we might not have the better talent, does not mean that we show up and we might not be able to play better than you that day. So it's like, wait a minute here. In order to be the better team on any given Sunday, on any given occasion, for any given event, that means that you have to perform better. That means you have to execute better. So already from a logical standpoint, the statement that Jenkins is making absolutely makes no damn sense. In fact, it is freaking illogical as hell. Freaking Spock would look at him and his freaking eyebrow would freaking pop through his damn forehead. Because that statement makes literally no damn sense. It is the exact opposite of logic. But here's where this makes also further no sense and is quite frankly an insult yet again to the Lions. According to Jenkins, he says that the better team did not win. Okay, here. Let's back the hell up here for just a small second. The better team did not win. So according to Jenkins, I get it, he's biased. I get it, he's a Packer. He's going to say that. But there's a point where bias, favoritism, all that nonsense severely has to just take a back seat and just be like, okay, here, let's just look at the situation for what it is here. Who has the better offensive line, top to bottom, left to right, on the entirety of the NFL? That's the Detroit Lions. There is not a single offensive line that's even remotely close to the freaking Lions. Not even close. Okay, moving on. Who's got the best running back tandem in the NFL? Oh, that's right. That would be the Detroit Lions because we have freaking Sonic and Knuckles, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Nobody else has a tandem like that. Moving on. Okay, let's see here. The Lions have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's considered a top 10, top 5 wide receiver. We have Sam Laporta, who is considered a top 5, top 3 tight end, even though he's not producing right now. And we also have Jameson Williams, who's considered arguably one of the fastest, if not the fastest wide receiver. So on an overall front, our offense is considered one of the best in the NFL, not only from a talent standpoint, but also from a production standpoint. Okay, here, let me just ask this question. Let's see. Who is the Packers tight end? Robert Kraft or Tucker? Whatever the hell his name is, he's not better than Sam Laporta. Don't even try to make that argument. Christian Watson is a good wide receiver. So is Romeo Doubs. But are they better than freaking Jameson Williams and freaking Amon-Ra St. Brown? No way in hell. And then let's get to the main important one here. Freaking Jordan Love versus Jared Goff, I mean, for crying out loud, I've already had this conversation before, but just to show just the embarrassing fact of this whole thing here, Jared Goff, let's think about this. Currently, as it stands right now, Jared Goff's completion percentage, I think, is either at 75% for the season or just under 75%. He's got a little over 1,700 yards. He's got, 14 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions. His passer rating is like freaking 115 plus. I mean, for crying out loud, Jared Goff is having an MVP caliber season. There's not even a debate about that. Whereas, wait a minute here, what's going on with Jordan Love? Oh, that's right. His passer rating, I think, is either just above 90 or below 90. And he's got, 15 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, which, by the way, is leading in the league in interceptions. And his completion percentage is barely above 61% or something like that. So you want to try and tell me that your quarterback's better than ours, but yet the stats are so freaking lopsided, it's not even a freaking joke. I mean, if you were to try and present that as an argument to somebody, you would get laughed out of the room just on sheer face value. Now, let's think about the freaking defenses here. Okay, you can say all you want about your defense, but let's see here. We have guys like Aleem McNeil, we have DJ Reader, we have the best safety tandem in the entirety of the NFL, and freaking Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. Let's see here. Our defense, even though it has lost a multitude of starters on it, considering we don't have Aiden Hutchinson, we don't have Davenport, we don't have Kaminsky. I mean, just keep going down the list. We've lost a lot of defensive players, starting level defensive players. And yet our defense, if I recall correctly, is still considered a top 10 defense in terms of points given up. And on top of that, we're top 10 in most of the situational stuff, such as third down conversion percentage, fourth down conversion percentage, scoring drive percentage, and red zone percentage. So from a statistical standpoint, not only from a talent standpoint, again, our defense is better than the Packers. I mean, just take a look at it for its face value. You can't disagree with me. So then we get to the last thing, special teams. Okay, Jack Fox is the best punter in the NFL. Don't even have to try and argue that one. And then let's see here. Brandon McManus is a pretty damn good kicker, but correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he miss a field goal that last game against the Lions? What was it, a 46-yarder? As far as I'm concerned, I think so far our kicker, Jake Bates, hasn't missed a field goal yet. Just saying. And then there's the coaching. Okay, Matt LaFleur, you might have more NFC Championship game appearances. You might have more wins on your total record. But let's just be fair and honest here. I would be willing to bet money that the only reason that you have those championship game appearances is because of the fact that you had Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams at the time that you did it. If we were to put Jordan Love in said circumstances, it wouldn't even be close. Oh yeah, sure, you'd probably still make the playoffs. But the NFC Conference Championship game, no chance in hell. That's why I'm saying, Matt LaFleur, the Packers, oh yeah, they're a good team. I won't take that away from them. But are you better than the Detroit Lions? If you seriously think that, you need to check yourself into a mental hospital because you're delusionally insane. There's no chance in hell of that. You were to talk to any NFL analyst, anybody who seriously talked to new football, nobody out of a room of 100 people, save one individual who'd be that lone Packers, nutty fan, would say that the Lions would be better than the Packers. That's how absolutely crazy this statement by Elton Jenkins is. He's trying to say that, because we executed better, we were the team that won, but we're not the better team. It's like, dude, you want to try and freaking go from top to bottom, terms of stats, terms of roster talent, terms of everything, you don't even come close to the Lions level. Again, your butt hurt. You're upset because you lost, and now you're trying to throw a temper tantrum, and you're trying to say stuff when it's like, okay, correct me here, but you just got your ass handed to you by a dome team when we were outside in the elements, and you got frankly embarrassed by said dome team. So now you're wanting to say you're trying to say some more mad smack because, we're the better team. Okay, here's my one statement that I have to say to that. If you were the better team, then why did we win and you didn't? Because if you're the better team, you should have executed better. After all, it was your home stadium. After all, it was outdoors. After all, we're the dome team. So if you're the better team, you should have executed better. You should have been able to play the game better. You were in your natural element. So you had everything going your way. Hell, you even had a referee that was going to give you guys all the help in the world in Cleat the Cheap Blakeman. You had everything going your way. And yet you still could not win. So, at that point, it's like, listen, you had all of the you literally were playing with house money, and you still couldn't win. At that point, then, it's not about whether or not you guys didn't execute or not. You guys just simply are inferior to the Detroit Lions. Point blank, simple, end of story, done. Do not pass go and collect $200. That's the end of it. You guys lost to the Detroit Lions because you are an inferior team. Get over it. Your time as the freaking reigning NFC champions of the freaking NFC North, it's done. You're not going to be winning NFC division championships for the NFC North anytime soon. Get used to it. That's the end of it. Quit crying, quit complaining, get used to your new status as being the towel boy of the Detroit Lions. It's over. With that, I'm done. Having said that, I'm going to say thank you all for watching yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these three things: like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you like what you saw, I hopefully want to encourage y'all to please subscribe, but I also want to encourage y'all, make sure you hit that bell notification icon so that way you guys never miss any more content that I push out. Also want to encourage y'all to share the content. Please share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you possibly can, because the more we can do that, the greater the channel can grow, the greater the channel can spread. And with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the content, whether you're a long-term viewer or this is your first time viewing me. Hope you all got something out of it. Hope everybody out there has something in their life that makes them happy, makes them smile. God bless, my friends, and until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.